Okay.
Okay, ready? Here we go.
Ah.
3, 2, 1. Always. This always happens.
That was my fault.
You haven't. You didn't yawn the whole time, the whole post show.
But it's
and
like
now
my face
you
knew. It knew
I
that
say
we had
3,
to keep
2,
it
1.
together. Don't even make me yawn again. Okay.
You ready this time?
No. Yeah.
Okay. And welcome back to the Riley Black Project. Crystal and John,
Hey.
what's up? What you
Nothing.
got over there?
I got a whole list
Of
patrons.
oh,
We have like 6
lot.
or 7 new ones.
nice.
So thank you.
Welcome.
All the newbies. Not all of them get their new. Most of them did I think the $4 one.
Okay,
So
so they don't get a shout
they
out.
don't get a shout out, but I'm still
But-
giving them like a shout out. Like
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
And thanks
they get
to everyone. Who's
they get the extra entries in the giveaway that
Right.
by now will be all finished.
finished,
But
yeah.
yeah. So first we'll start with our sponsorship. Katie with Monarch Pine. She's giving our listeners 10% off with code Riley Black. And that's monarchpine.etsy.com.
Your monitor scared the shit out of me. I was like, did a camera die? I'm looking at you,
When I
and then
was
I
in
just
the
see it go
middle-
boom. I'm like, what?
I was in the middle of my spiel, so I couldn't
yeah.
tell you what it was. Yeah, my monitor just turned off because I just printed the names for everyone and gave you a heart attack. How about the printer when it like runs again after,
Yeah,
like it cycles afterwards, and every time we're like,
Yeah,
oh yeah.
takes a while to cycle too.
Okay, so we have Penny Psalm, not my Penny,
Oh, okay.
different Penny. Our Penny now. Aaron with Aaron's Acrylic Animals, Christy C, Jess with Jersey Girl Sign Shop, Jillian B, Allison with Black River Arts, Trisha, Heather Lynn with Lobo Designs, Crystal with Spreading Stardust, Liz with Laser Outpost, X Tool, Jewelry Blanks, the longest group ever.
Sorry. Liz.
I love you, Liz.
Kind of a long day.
Superfan Brandy Mahoney,
Charge your
Victor.
double.
Give her a character limit. Where was I? Victor with Excited Adam, Katie with Monarch Pine again, Camille, Lisa, David with Creative Cut Supplies, Stephanie Long, Barbie, Madison, Danny, Emily, Mark,
This is great.
the Kathy Ray, Ryan with Sprouts Creations, and Will with Crazy Laser Dad. We're gonna have to start splitting these up. That's a lot in
It's
a
lot
good
of
way.
names. Yeah, no, it's great. It's great. It's what we want.
So
Keep it coming.
yeah.
So yeah, we'll read like halfway in the month.
Yeah.
And then the other half.
And the other half, the other.
Yeah, every 2 weeks we have a read.
Well, you know, we might have to hit like a limit. Like once we get to like too many, it's the top like 20
No, I'll just
get
run
mentioned
credits.
each
I'll
week.
just run credits.
Scroll.
Yeah, just scroll at the beginning.
You have to watch to hear your name then instead.
Like through this whole thing, through this whole banter before I announce, it's just names coming up. Thank
or like
you.
infomercials where it talks so fast, we just speed up everybody's name. Anyway, focus.
Yes, focus. So, today we have a full. Now this is impressive that she's even on the show for lasers.
Right?
Because a full-time high school teacher, that's a lot of work.
That's too much.
That's a lot of work. So the fact that you're even on the show because you own a laser and not for like school stuff, for like your own stuff, that's pretty impressive.
Right.
Welcome to the show, Kathryn of Primary Market.
How are you?
Hey. Thanks for having me. I feel so
course.
honored.
I've heard great things about you.
Oh my gosh.
Emily was actually asking about, something group related the other day. And I was like, and I like jokingly asked, I was like, do we like her? And like, just like,
Yes, I know.
just getting a feel of, because you never know. Something like, I didn't know much. I would see you in the groups and stuff, and I'd see people I like interact with you.
Yes.
And then you had just came up, and I was like, "Do we like her?" And both Heather and Emily were like, "Yeah, we really like her." And I was like, "Okay, so we should have her on the podcast."
Yes, I told my students, I said, you guys, I said, I just got this message. And they're like, you are so famous.
Oh my
Don't
god!
stop teaching. And I was like, oh, I can't. I mean, I keep telling them I love teaching, but we're doing a fine arts festival coming up, and I know I'm going to be made of so many times about my laser and my laser
Yep.
group. And I was like, you guys, so today my laser group. They're like, uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. So
That's so funny.
yeah.
So, what is your background? Since you're still a teacher, how did you go from teaching still and becoming a laser
Yes.
owner?
Well, the thing of it is, I started out, I mean, I've been teaching for 14 years. So I absolutely
Wow.
love science. And then COVID hits. Okay. So we took COVID pretty seriously. We quarantined, we stayed inside, we did nothing. So my mom told us, she's like, listen, guys, let me be real with you. You have to get a hobby. You can't sit around all day and drink. We're like,
Why not?
what?
What do you mean?
I'm teaching online, and at that time I had a 4-year-old. So, and I did not want my 4-year-old around my parents who were, they're not old, but they were older.
Right.
And so I just said, no, I'll keep her here. I'll teach,
Yeah.
and I can do this. I can do this. And so she's just like, you guys are just out of control. I was like, the two of us are sitting in the living room,
Out
whatever.
of control.
Out of control. So, like she just said, you have to find something to do with your time. So my husband bought a CNC machine, and, he was doing stuff here and there. And it was just the technology on the CNC wasn't anything that I could like really wrap my head around. It was just, I needed more, push and play at that time. So,
Yeah.
I'm just like, what's this Glowforge thing? I think I could do that. No
Yeah.
research, no nothing. I was
course,
just,
we
I
never
remember
do.
like giving Jay a bath, and I text Jason downstairs and I said, I think I just bought this Glowforge. And he's like, okay, whatever. And I was like, and now I gotta try to pay it off. So did I have any background in lasers or running a business or anything? Absolutely not. And
That's
that's
so
how
funny.
we started.
So like not even like a Cricut, or were you even like crafting at home, like anything?
I had a Cricut, but I don't think I really considered myself crafty. So, the reason that we started our small business was, like I said, we did take COVID seriously, but we only thought it was going to be a 2-week thing. We're
Right.
like, why is everybody cooperating? This is going to be 2 weeks. Let's do this.
Right.
Right.
So,
2-week vacation.
Bamboozled.
yeah, exactly. So Jay was in preschool, and I had to get her a teacher appreciation gift. So this is the first time I'm leaving the house. And I was like, oh my gosh, there's nothing open. There's nothing open. I don't know what to do. So I stopped at Home Depot, and I got a little succulent, and then I put a tag on it that said, thanks for helping me grow. Like, I printed it on the computer. I didn't even Cricut it. I cut it with scissors, and let me tell you, I can't cut and I can't paint. But I posted it on like these garage sale sites, and boom, it just went viral, and all these mothers were picking up plants off my front porch. I mean, my
That's
neighbors
hilarious.
didn't think they were legal plants. I know. There was one time my neighbor was like, what do you got going on over there? I was like, oh my gosh. She was like, the assistant state's attorney was like pulling up. I was like, oh my gosh. I said, it's succulents,
Yeah.
So she was picking up an order. And I was like, oh, thanks, guys. But yeah, that's where we started, was plants.
Nice.
Speaking of all things laser, check out Houston Acrylic at houstonacrylic.com for reliable laser tested and laser approved materials.
Made for makers by makers, Houston Acrylic features over 450 styles of acrylic sheets. With over 50 new arrivals being released this month, Houston Acrylic is committed to bringing new and innovative styles to the laser community. My personal favorite is the matte, anything matte, and I feel it's perfect for everything.
Don't forget to save 10% by using our exclusive coupon code TRBP10 at checkout. Get inspired today and visit HoustonAcrylic.com.
Do it.
Welcome to the revolution in laser engraving. Introducing Lens Digital, the creators of the game-changing Pyburn rotary attachment. With the Pyburn 4.0, you can turn ordinary cups, tumblers, glasses, and more into extraordinary masterpieces.
Looking to engrave niche items or want the functionality of a Chuck rotary? Look no further than the Pyburn Grip, Lens Digital's Chuck-style rotary. With a range of different sized jaws, you can easily engrave a wide variety of items. All Lens Digital products are compatible with most CO2 and Galvo lasers and were designed specifically for the laser industry. All that, paired with the best-in-class customer support, Lens Digital is your one-stop shop for all of your rotary needs.
Transform your laser engraving game with Lens Digital, where makers succeed. Unleash your creativity today.
And don't forget, we are proud Lens Digital affiliates as well. If you're shopping, code RileyBlack will take $50 off any order of $600 or more. You said you cut them out of paper. You didn't use the laser at all, right?
No.
So did you buy the laser to kind of supplement and make stuff like faster or easier, or?
I don't know. I don't. I went to college with a girl, and she had a glow forge, and she's like, it passes the time, and I go to markets, and I was like, I think I could try that. Like, that even looks easier than a Cricut. Let's just go right to a laser. So she's the one that really got me into the glow forge. She's like, well, I have a code that you can get $500 off. I was like, deal. I got it. Yeah. So I think that's where the little spark of interest came in. But I really wasn't like following anybody. It was just, but when I do something, like, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, so I gotta prove to my husband that I just spent all this money and now I'm going to do something with it. So that's where we're at. And so
did you continue with the teacher's gifts? Like when you got it, like how did all of that evolve? And is that still what you do now?
Yeah, a lot of this stuff, we just became kind of like on gifts and goods.
Yeah.
So we evolved from the plants. My husband is a horticulturalist, so he does have a background in plant soil science. Nice. But the dirt was all over the place. I had dirt all over. So we're like, no, we're not going to do this anymore. But then as soon as we brought that little glow forge in, into our garage, into our setup, it just opened up so many doors. So then our business started growing, and I thought, I can't keep up. I can't keep up with this. Like, I remember talking to Samita Patel, and she's like, you did what? You cut how many patches on a glow forge? And I said, 444. I did it. I cut 444 on a glow forge. And she's like, ooh, that sounds kind of painful. Like all the time. And and then at that time, when you get into the laser world, then you start following certain people. And so I think I was following Will Louis first, and then I was like, what's that he's got? He had the Eon Mirror 9, and I was
my God, he collects lasers.
Yes. So I think I was following Will, and then I'm looking at the Patels like, that's my style. Like, yes, they are doing such amazing things. And I was like, wait a second. They got a Mirror 9, and he's got a Mirror 9, and I need a Mirror 9. Not 7. No research. Right. So I got in touch with my sales rep that I truly believe, like, she's my friend that I've never met before. Yeah. So I got in touch with Sarah Waddell, and she hung on with me for a good 6 to 7 months. And she would check in, are you ready yet? Nope. Are you ready yet? No, I'm not. I can't do that. I can't spend money. And then my husband's like, you got to spend money to make money. So, and she was so patient with me and, answered all of my questions. And then finally, I went to Team Eon, and I cannot be happier with that decision.
That's so awesome. So how has that helped, like, your production? Because basically, I assume you work in the evenings, nights, weekends. Yes. Having a faster machine is that much more important for you because you're already, limited on time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was just it's just night and day. People that want to scale their business, that's one of the first things I tell them. You have to do some research. You have to upgrade your laser. Just the output that we can get from that is just, it's just unbelievable. So we all have certain jobs. Mine's the designing and cutting. Jason takes care of making dinner, picking up after me, doing the laundry, taking care of our child when I'm running the laser.
Yeah.
And then we employed my mom and my dad. And
Nice.
so my dad's doing a lot of the constructing of things. My mom's doing a lot of the peeling, the masking tape,
I love it.
doing the sanding, and packaging the goods.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Little family affair.
Right?
Yes. So,
I've
I'm really lucky that I teach only accelerated and honors courses at this time. So
Yeah.
I get I get to pick the best of the best. And I picked one of my students last year, Serenity, and she has been working with us, and she's truly been part of our family for the past year. I don't know how I could do this without Serenity.
Do you intend to do both of them, like, for the foreseeable future? What are your goals as far as that goes?
Teaching is my passion. I love to teach. Could I cut back and just do a couple classes here and there? I maybe, but I love what I'm doing. But my group is growing, and coming. And with the group growing, that's bringing on a lot of rewards for us too. It's just, we sit back, we're like, okay, where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? So a lot of that talk, once a week on the weekends, Jason and I sit back and we say, where do we go from here? What is our end game?
Yeah.
What are we going to do with this monetary gain? What we have to make sure that we're paying ourselves first. Are we going to invest this? Are we going to pay off our house? What are our end goals? We have to, we can't just keep spinning these wheels without some end goal.
Right.
So, but I do think a lot of the reason that the group, my laser group, primary market, laser partners, is so fulfilling to me is because I feel like I'm teaching.
That's what I was actually just going to say, is that I feel like laser teaching just makes sense for you, maybe like just initially with what you know now and what you've already learned in, the last few years. And then just as you learn and as you grow and teaching along the way. I mean, it's the same reason that Emily does so well is because she was a teacher first. And then, you have that. I mean, you have to have an amazing interest in that to be able to do it and to deal with what you guys have to deal with. So, having that patience and that passion for it, it can easily just switch over into, teaching different kinds of students.
Right. It's just, I love teaching. I had one of my referrals, she just got her Mira 9 a couple weeks ago. And I said, call me. Let me walk you through that. Let me help you with your first cut. And as soon as she made her first cut, I was like, oh my gosh, how does it feel?
Yeah.
So
it's like you had your first grandbaby.
Yes. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. So, yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And that's what's awesome about the community and having someone local is like her, first reaction is like, oh my God, you got to call me. Let me help you, do your first cut instead of, great, there's competition down the street. You know what I mean? It's refreshing to see that in the community.
Right, exactly. And I mean, I always think that the laser world is so different from other maker crafter worlds.
Very different. Yeah.
Try to tell people that all the time.
Yeah.
Like people in the community will ask me, well, what about so and so that's getting into what you do? And I was like, yeah, I know.
Right. It's great.
And she's in my group.
Right.
Like what? But no, like people from our community we're all working together. I know for a
Yeah.
fact that if something happens with my machine, I can call one of them and be like,
It's
"Hey,
so important.
Yeah.
help a sister out."
Yeah.
So
And I mean, we've had, having that next to me helped me, in the old house. And then here, thankfully, we haven't run into that yet.
Right.
But I have Heather down the street.
Right.
We have Laser Mafia down the
Right.
other side of the
And I mean,
street.
a little bit further down this, luckily, a little further down the street,
Right.
we have Eon.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, that's another luxury is like,
Right.
well, we can go to the headquarters and be like, hey.
Yeah.
yeah, but like I try to tell people, I'm not on here to like keep blasting Ian, but it makes sense.
Right.
Because they are, you can, anything. Like, I keep trying to tell people when they're on the fence, I said, if something happens and they are FaceTiming me on how to fix this problem.
Yes.
Like, but you don't
at
know.
9:00 at night because I waited until the last minute and needed to cut out some memorial keychains and something was going on with my engraves and stuff, and I felt bad because I actually kept him a little bit past, and he was very nice and patient with me. But yeah, I mean that's the kind of stuff that they'll do is they'll stay late and they'll stay past and well, maybe not always stay past that. Yeah, it was only a few minutes, but they'll be there to help. First thing in the morning. Although I'll always say, check your junk mail because no matter what, any email from Eon almost goes straight to junk. No matter how often you mark it as safe, it just immediately goes there. And so it's so frustrating because it takes you'll send in a support ticket and you'll be trying not to obsess over it and check it and check it and check it. And so you just focus on something else, and then all of a sudden a couple hours has gone by and you're like, damn it, I haven't heard from you. It hasn't even been that long. And you get kind of mad, but you realize okay, it's only been a couple hours, And then you look in your junk mail and you see that they messaged you back 15 minutes after you
15 minutes. Right. I know. But people that haven't experienced other customer service, they just don't know.
Yeah, they don't get it.
No.
Yeah.
We
used to wait days.
Oh yeah. And the frustration, it's like, okay, 4 machines later.
Right.
Yeah.
You too?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So I truly, I don't try to blast anybody because my first machine got me to where I am.
Exactly. That's always our caveat is that without that being a stepping stone, a lot of us wouldn't be here at all.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Yeah, it's not necessarily about where you start. It's just starting.
Yeah, I learned a lot of settings and just I learned a lot. I really wanted to keep that machine. But I'll tell you. So last year I think it was just last Christmas. So so we just had our Mira for a couple months, but I was going to keep the Glow Forge just as a backup. And so my laser tube, if you follow me, we have freak accidents, and the laser tube always freezes on us. The garage door mysteriously went up this year during the polar vortex. We have a heated garage, and the garage door went up.
Oh my God.
And so last year we didn't really know about all of the antifreeze, so that was our fault. So we're on tube number 2 now, and tube number 3. So the laser tube broke, and then the garage door, something happened. We moved the table the Glow Forge was sitting on. The table clipped the garage door. The garage door went up. The Glow Forge went on its face, and I watched it in slow motion go up and down, and it shattered all over the place. When my husband had surgery, he had his appendix out on the 21st of December. He was home for Christmas. That all happened on Christmas Day. So I said, just give me 5 minutes to mourn 2 lasers. He said, but you're home for Christmas, so that's all that matters. So
Right.
it's just like, oh, so I got to refurbish, sold it off, and it's like, we're done with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So they were both out like,
Hmm.
oh,
And Jason's
that's
appendix
so rough.
ruptures. Oh,
Nice.
yes. But you know what?
That
Who
was
changed that too? Me. I did it
good for
because
you.
Yeah.
I
because
totally wouldn't have.
Ian walked me through.
Yeah, that's true. They will hold your hand for sure.
Yes.
And if you're local enough, they'll even hold your hand like in person. I mean, they
Yeah.
probably would be like, "Don't touch me," but like
Yeah, yeah,
move
yeah.
out of the way, lady. I want to service your laser. But
Yeah.
Attention, all laser owners and crafters. Are you tired of spending hours cutting, painting, and assembling laser products? Look no further than Crazy Laser Dad Laser Ready Blanks.
Their high quality blanks are expertly sourced, tested, and ready to use with your lasers. Say goodbye to the hassle and frustration of time consuming projects and hello to more time creating and selling.
Plus, with their wide selection of items, you'll surely find the perfect blank for all your customers.
So, what are you waiting for? Visit crazylaserdad.com today and take your laser crafting to the next level with their laser ready blanks.
Hey there, podcast listeners. How great would it feel if this was the year you finally got to escape your 9 to 5 to embrace your lifestyle of creativity and entrepreneurship?
every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern, Eon Laser USA invites you to join the Freedom to Create webinar, where you'll learn how to make this a reality.
Join leading laser industry professional and brand ambassador Emily, aka That Mom with a Laser, and Eon Laser USA's sales manager Alicia as they dive into all things Eon.
Learn about the advantages of owning an Eon laser and get the scoop on Eon's rewards and partner benefits. Plus, get a glimpse at how everyday people who started out with zero experience paid off their lasers, scaled their businesses, and transformed their lifestyles.
So if you're ready for a lifestyle change, head over to eonlaser.us/why us and sign up for the Freedom to Create webinar today.
Thanks for listening. Laser on. I mean, that's kind of like the day where we just got back to our house with a leaking roof and got a quote on, needing a new roof for anywhere between $6,000 to $12,000
Right.
if we did, the one portion or the full thing.
Right.
And then like an hour later found out we were pregnant with baby number 2.
Oh.
And it was like, oh, wonderful.
Oh, yes. Yes.
But you just gotta roll with it. And I mean, usually in the end it's like, oh, okay, that all like
Right.
made sense.
Mhm.
And that leaky roof is probably why we're here, because we were so traumatized
Yeah.
by that thing. We're still here. I think for
Oh,
once, like it rained today and I didn't
Uh-huh.
like get a little weird.
Mm.
Because we have total PTSD from
Total from that
like,
house. Yeah.
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 As soon as we'd think we'd figure it out, the last roofer literally came like, what was it, like 6 times?
Yeah.
5 times,
I think
at
5
least.
times.
Yeah.
And every time he was sure he found
He's like,
it.
no,
He's like,
I was
no,
sure
I got
last
it this
time.
time.
But I got it
Oh,
this time.
And then-
yeah.
Yeah.
He was amazing though, because he really
was.
did. Like, I think he did eventually actually find it, and he was
Yeah.
persistent. And we didn't even pay
Yeah.
him that much. We didn't
No.
pay him enough to come back
No.
that many times.
Well, he didn't charge the keep coming back.
No,
He just charged us for the problem and having to come back. He's like, no, you're having the same problem.
Right.
I didn't do my job.
I didn't fix it the first
So,
time.
yeah,
And I was like,
yeah.
oh, okay, you're not normal.
Yeah, but when
Yeah, no kidding, right? Right?
yeah, it seems like everything happens at the same time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And isn't the saying like it always happens in threes?
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So
That's right. Like, okay, so that means we're done now, right?
yeah.
That was
Yeah.
the third one.
And it's don't jinx it. You don't talk about it.
Right? Yeah, so I mean, I guess we talked about your plans. Are there any other goals, for this year? You do sell, what do you sell?
I really thought last summer that like, oh yeah, I'm gonna order these items that I really want to work with, and I'm gonna order all these bento boxes, and I'm gonna order all these photo cubes. I'm gonna order all
Yeah.
these things, and then I was like,
Right.
I am not little Louie. This sucks. Like
Right, let
I
him.
hate this. Like
Yeah.
but I think I'm a dabbler. So like I dabble in different things, like
Yeah.
and then I figure out what works for me. Selling blanks. I do have patches. I always keep patches on hand because people are always, can you give me some patches?
Yeah.
That I get patches. I have a few things left over, but like I said, there are fantastic laser suppliers. It's just not me. So,
Yeah.
in file creators, I've created like a couple files here and there that I just upload to my group. Be like, hey, this is something good. Try this. But a majority of my things are I post a lot of Amazon links to
Okay.
packaging. I have
Yeah.
a fuzz that like it just keeps going through my face. So I love a deal. So
Yeah.
if I can find something, whether it's like on shop style, so like Amazon or Macy's, Walmart, Target, anything like that, that can help with our presentation,
Right.
or like the ribbons or the boxes or anything like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Like I
Yeah, I saw
really,
you posted the jewelry bags today. And I actually
yes.
went and looked for some for myself as well.
Yeah, and I'd love to see like when people take one of my suggestions, like, hey, I found this on deal. I'm gonna use this. And then when people are like, hey, I use that too. It's like, oh, that checks off a lot of boxes for me.
Yeah.
Like I always like some people get really offended, like they copy what I did. And when people like do something that I do, I'm like, oh my gosh, you like my idea?
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Cease and
so
desist.
it's just like, oh my gosh. So a majority of my things that are working for me right now are just finding those deals.
Yeah.
And I get up in the morning at like 5:30 and I scour through all of these deals that they send me, like, hey, it looks like you'd be interested in this, and as an
Yeah.
affiliate of Amazon, here's some of the things that here's some codes. It's like,
Right.
Yeah.
oh yeah, they're gonna love this. So when I post these things and people are like, oh my gosh, I bought the acrylic picture frames, and the acrylic picture frames are really taking off for me.
Yeah.
Or there's a particular board, Chef Sophie, that has ramekins, and I'm like, I buy this, my realtors love this, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's just a matter, I just love to find good deals and share them with people.
Yeah.
So, a lot of people, one of my friends, who is actually my neighbor, is like, she's like a certified influencer. Like,
Yeah.
she's real.
Like a real
Like,
one.
she's a real one. So when people ask me, how'd you find your influencer? I don't know, because she's next door and
Right.
she likes my stuff and I teach her kids.
Right.
So, well, how do you do that? I don't know. She just says, hey, you want me to post that?
Right.
Yep. So
Yeah.
she's got over 500,000 followers, and she's the one that
Yeah.
kind of like guides me and
Yeah.
and talks me through like some of that kind of stuff, especially with giving her some links to promote me, which
Yeah.
and I'm honored that she wants to put her name behind my products.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that Smita is going to be doing her tutorials, and she brought it to me before, let's do it together, and I was like, I get nothing to contribute. And so I don't
My
really
friend.
know how to
Yeah.
gain
Yeah.
these influencer relationships.
Yeah.
No, but like I'm at a point of I'm happy with my sales. I like to grow here and there, but right now, we just have to sit down, Jason and me, and say, we're at the point right now. Where do we go from here?
Yeah.
Right.
You have to have a plan and what works best for your family, and like we were kind of talking offline, and kids, sports and activities and stuff.
Right.
And
Yes.
it's like, you have to make sure that those are first priority, and then how does this other stuff fit in? And it's like, everyone would love like a side job or a second job, or a small business that's giving them that extra, but you just have to make sure, like, at what expense? You know, is that
Yes.
extra getting in the way of other things? Is this me working a couple extra days and then we have 2 family vacations? You know, that's what I like, that kind of stuff. So it's just figuring out what makes sense for you and your family. Because for some people, working all day and all night for 6 months to a year is worth whatever, you know, those sacrifices are worth whatever they gain from it by doing that. And
Right.
for people like us with 2 young boys, that's just not even really an option for us personally. You know, it's not something we have any desire to do, you know?
Right. I just think for us, it's just, you know, one of the main reasons that we started our small business was Jason worked at US Silica, which was, they mine sand. You know, and we're watching the oil market in January, and then COVID hit, and he's like, hey, oil market's not looking good. When the oil market's not looking good, that's not good for my job. And so we're like, oh, we better start putting away some money, you know. And then the time came, and they're like, hey, you know, you've been great, but you're part of the layoff too. And we're just like, we just, you know, we just felt like we need something to fall back on in case, you know, we just never know. And I just think that it's always good to have that one thing that in case, you know, God forbid something happens to one of our jobs, you know, I do teach in a parochial school, you know, it's just if our enrollment goes down, oh, I don't know. So, but being that I am in the parochial school is one of the reasons that I can continue to do what I'm doing too. You know, I don't want to give people like false hope. My boss is incredible, and you know, she'll say, well, you know, what are we looking at for a schedule for next year? Well, I want to drop off Jay at school, and I want to make sure that I can get her later on, you know. And so she's taken my classes, and she's really like put them back to back in the middle of the day.
That's awesome.
You can't do that in the public schools, you know. So but the people that teach with me at Marquette Academy, we all want to be at Marquette Academy.
Yeah.
It's different.
Which is great.
So.
I mean, you're pretty dang lucky to have basically 2 jobs that you love, because there's a lot of people who don't have one that they love, you know, even if you're a small business owner, because let's be real, some days this shit is tough.
Because a lot of times you don't go into it as a business. You know, it becomes a business.
Kind of just happens.
It kind of just happens.
Like
like, you know, like she's coming up on now, it's like you know, it's kind of sounds like you're at that point, like does the side hustle become the main hustle, which creates more hustle.
Yes.
Or do we just keep it as a side hustle and just like kind of, you know,
Find
start
the
cutting,
balance.
start the cutoff, and sometimes that comes with just raising prices.
Yeah.
Yes. If my husband's listening to this, he is very business minded. You know, so it's just like, hey, you know, those drapes or blinds or whatever. Your mom said that those were $800 a piece, and I said, well, I didn't buy them. And he's like, raise your prices. $800 for one window. Raise your prices. And I was like, yeah.
I just actually had to bully myself today.
Yeah.
So earlier than on the last podcast, we were talking about how a small little sign took me out. And just completely defeated me, and I don't want to make another one if I can help it. And then the next day I had to turn around and make a cake topper for my friend. And I remember trying to convince you on the last podcast how cake toppers are different from me. I have less pressure for them, even though a lot of people, especially, not to brag, but the ones that I make them, they tend to keep, even though, you know, typically you don't like keep, you know, a cake topper or whatever. You just kind of like toss it or whatever. But I have less pressure with the cake topper because it's like one-time use.
Yeah.
And so like if it's off a little bit, I'm like, oh, it's okay. or
Right.
if it like I thought today there was a little scratch, and I was like, see, if this was a sign, it would feel ruined to me, and now
Yes.
I have to start over. Well, with a cake topper, even though the scratch came off, it was just like a smudge. Like it wouldn't have been a big deal, and so then I'm like looking, and it's small in size. It was for my friend Dylan, and it was a coffin shape, so it was death to her 20s because she's turning 30.
Yeah.
And so I mean, it was pretty complicated. It was her name with like a spider web off to the side. The coffin, the name had like an offset like cut out of the coffin, and then also 30 on the coffin. So it was 3 layers and 4 colors?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So
Yeah.
pretty like intricate,
Right.
but it was small. And so I kept telling myself, I'm like, normally I would charge like, even if it was like a single layer mirror, just plain 1 layer, single, mirror acrylic, I would charge $20. Like they start at 20 because you have to design them, and it doesn't,
Right.
it doesn't take 2 seconds. And so there's a lot
Right.
that goes into
Right.
it. And so then when I do the double layers, those are always like 25 and up. And I was sitting here struggling to price it at $30 because then I'm, bamboozling myself because I'm turning around and saying, oh, they only use it once. Who wants to
Right.
spend $30?
But they don't.
But they don't.
They keep it.
And
just
they
like a
asked
sign.
for something that extra too,
Right.
And so I had to and then I went and looked on Etsy, and I looked up layered acrylic cake topper, and I saw that much simpler ones that were literally
Right.
just 1 or 2 layers, charging anywhere from 15 to 20, 25, 35, almost 40 depending on how intricate. And I was like, oh, okay, I can charge 30.
Yes,
But
I know.
it's
But we
hard.
do that. We do that to ourselves, and it's just kind of like, my gosh, why do we devalue ourselves?
Yeah.
Right.
We have to, and that's one of the things. Like I tell the people in my group, like what I'm telling you is what I need to tell myself.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
if I keep on telling you this over and over and over again, then I'm gonna start believing it too.
Right. Yeah. Well, and it's like I'll turn around and I'll spend, I spent a pretty, couple dollars on this custom, melted ice cream thing. And like I've done the same for, I don't know how much I spent on like the 3D printed like spilling thing, but like I have no problem paying
Yes.
other people's prices, but
Right.
then when it comes to charging my own, I'm like, oh, they're never going to order from me again. They're
Right.
going to think that it's crazy. And then it's so funny. I freaked myself out so much, I think, when I was typing the message to her. I said $30 and then plus $10 shipping. Well, I meant to say $10 shipping. And then I said plus $40 shipping. I added them together instead of saying $30 with $10 shipping, 40
$40.
total.
Yeah.
I said 30 and 40. And she was like, $40 in shipping. She's like, is this being
Yeah,
delivered by a pigeon or whatever? I was like, oops, not 70. I didn't go that crazy. But although, like, if you build yourself up to be like a high end acrylic cake topper, it's 100% possible.
Right.
Like I could totally see the way I do baby milestones. Like I always feel bad when people reach out to me about how much they are, because I'm like, they're really expensive.
Right.
That's
So,
what I
like-
say too. I'm like, they're really expensive. Yeah.
Yeah. I had another laser owner reach out, and she wanted me to make a pizza, not a pizza. I made that for my son.
Right.
She wanted me to make the crawfish boil
Right,
baby
yeah.
milestone. And I was like, okay, but it's going to be really expensive. And well, at first I thought she just wanted the file. And I was like, the file is going to be pretty expensive because that's the hardest part. And there's a lot of like testing and stuff that goes into it. And she was like, no, I want you to make it. And I was like, but you're a laser owner. And she was like, I'll never make it for myself. And I'm like, I totally get it, because I would do the same
Right.
thing.
Yes.
We have.
I'll totally order something laser made from one of my friends because
Right.
I don't want to make it myself, or I won't get around to it. Or it's just something, I mean, like laser llama. I don't really
Right.
like, I could see maybe getting into hats someday, like if we had like a space, just because they are pretty easy. But I love not having to worry about leather
Right.
and a hat press and all the stuff that comes with
Yep.
that. But yeah, I forget where I was going with that.
That's my life. That's
Yeah, the what do you call it? The
trophy.
baby milestones. Yeah, because I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like, it was 150. I think I charged her 150 plus shipping. And I don't think I charged her enough. I used 7 or 8 different colors of acrylic. Like I hand
Yeah, it
drew
looked
all of
pretty good.
them. Like it looks amazing, and I love
Yeah.
doing those kinds of projects. But I just have to find those customers. They're out. I'm sure they're out there, but it's just yeah.
Yeah,
Finding them.
it's just like, valuing what we can do. And, people like in the city of Ottawa where I live, so I'm 90 minutes southwest of Chicago. We have if we have a millwork company in town that does extravagant work.
Yeah.
But if I'm going to take their extravagant cutting boards and then laser them, that's going to be way out of the price point for any of my customers.
Yeah.
But like you have to realize, like I value their work, but
Yeah.
there's no way that I can offer that in my shop.
Right.
Because it's just so time consuming and so beautiful.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh gosh, that would be a lot of money.
Her screen is freezing,
Yeah.
so she looks like
Oh,
she's
she-
like voguing almost. Like do the robot.
Oh
It
jeez.
seems to have cleared up now.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
good.
you're good now.
Yeah.
So what is something current you would say to new you?
So current me to like when I first started.
When you like first got your Glowforge?
Okay, the thing I would say is be patient and do the research.
Yes.
I think that if I was in groups and I got to see honest feedback from everybody, I think that I would have gone maybe like near a 5, near a 7, rather than going right into the 9. And I know
Right.
some people go right into Novas, but
Right.
I do think that I need to pump the bricks at times. And I've realized that as I go on, like I say, I dabble in stuff, but like when I go hard. So it's just like, I'm just going to buy this.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what I mean? So I think
Yep.
that one of the main things that I should have done was more research
Yeah.
and, and talk to more people that are experts in using the machines.
Yeah.
Like I never made any phone calls. So it's just like, okay, yeah. We're gonna do this.
I didn't know other lasers existed. I didn't even think about it.
I didn't even
Yeah.
know lasers existed.
Yeah, me either. That's why. So the
'Cause
first time
she-
I saw it, I was like, "Oh, this is brand new information. I must have one."
Right. And that's like I love listening to Emily Caroline talk about her experience. Were you at LBX?
I wasn't.
Wow.
No, you didn't do the podcast of like the fear of missing out. But like we don't go anywhere. But
Yeah.
Peoria was right by us. So we're like, yeah, that's a no-brainer. So listening to Emily at LBX and talking about, she talked about, she buys this machine that's thousands of dollars. And then she has to make a profit. And she said she remembers going into Home Depot and buying wood. And she said she was so emotional, like, oh my gosh, no, I gotta buy the materials. I gotta buy the materials.
Didn't
for
even think
this
about that
machine.
either.
Yeah, I didn't either. And she, she just remembered, like, she talked about, like, I was like, yes, I remember that feeling. And I try to, I'm a mother, so I always, like, I think like a mother too. So, like, when people do get their new machines and feel so overwhelmed, I always try to tell them, just like, when you first find out you're pregnant and you're like, oh my God, what? Like,
I said
then,
a couple words.
Yes, I even told my students, I said a bad word when that we wandered for a long time, you know. But I tell people like, you don't, we don't talk to you about how we used to feel because we forgot.
Right.
We forgot that feeling because now we have this bundle of joy. But we forget when we first get our lasers how overwhelmed we
How
feel.
scary it is. Yeah.
Yes, and I think that it's all about, for me it's all about going back to the research and talking to people and networking before I started,
Yeah.
rather than I'm swimming, just
Right.
keep
How?
swimming, you know.
Yeah. Just keep swimming.
So it's just, and then you screw up everything. You screw
Oh
up
yeah. You have to.
everything. Everything.
Yeah.
But it's just part of learning. It's
Yeah, I mean, someone can even tell
We're
you.
about to start doing that with
Yeah.
the fiber.
Yeah, and someone can even tell you, but it's not the same because like I always remember like you would ask a question and someone would give you the answer of like, oh, why can't you do this? And then they'll just answer with, oh, like you need to do a compound path or something like that when you're new and you're like, cool, what the heck does that mean?
Right.
It's like they
Yes.
get you there, but they don't get you the whole way. And I understand why, because it takes a long time sometimes to tell you, oh, you need to do this. And then after that, then you'll run into this and then you do this and this. It's like we don't all have that time. So we try and like help you, and then let's be real, by, a couple of years later, you kind of forget all that extra stuff because
Yes.
it becomes second nature to you. So you just say, oh, here's your answer. And they're like, what does that mean? Like, where do I even
Yes.
start? Like the first time you tell someone, have you checked your alignment or is your laser square? Is my what?
I'd say a little more rectangle,
Right.
but it's close enough to a square.
Right. Is your laser head square? Like, oh, yeah. So, just think you don't know what you don't know. So, yeah.
Yeah, so we always forget all the little baby steps in between.
Mm-hmm.
So when somebody comes to my group and they're like, "Hey, I'm just a newbie. This is a dumb question." No, it's
Nope.
totally not.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I try to tell people, like, I'm just so glad that you have the confidence to come to my group and ask the question,
Yeah.
knowing that we're going to help you. Because, like we talked about before, the laser world is so amazing and so supportive.
Right.
But there's just like one particular group that I'm like,
Yeah.
come
Just
with
like
me.
that 1 or
Come with me.
2%. Mm-hmm.
Come with me. Come
Yeah.
with me. Come to a safe place.
Right.
It's just like, come on over.
Yeah.
Because it's not like that. It's not like that.
Yeah. Well, and it shouldn't be like that because, the thing is, we were all new at one point.
Yes.
And if you don't have the patience, because listen, we all have our days where it's like, oh my God, I've answered this question literally like every hour of every day. How could someone still, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is what
Yes.
it feels like.
Yes.
And then those are the days you just scroll on by because today is not the day that I can be helpful or of good service to you. So I'm just going to keep it moving. And I just
Right.
don't understand why that's not possible for people. Like, I get if someone like has offended you, maybe like you just have to you feel it in your loins. You got to like get it out. But like if they want help and you're not in the mood to be
Right.
helpful,
Keep it
just
pushing.
go. Yeah. Why waste your time?
stop?
Yeah.
Just roll your eyes and keep going.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what the normal people do. You roll your eyes, you say a couple of, well, that's stupid, and you just keep
Yes.
Good luck to
Yes. It's just like I learned a ton from Emily.
Yeah.
Like our latest conversation was, why is that your responsibility?
Yeah.
Why is it your responsibility? Because I had I just needed some guidance. Why is it your
Right.
responsibility? Oh, I don't know. Exactly.
Right.
It's not. It's
Yep.
not. She's like, you're a mama and you have responsibilities and you can't let anything come in your space. And I was
Right.
like, yep,
Yep.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we don't have to deal with it too much, though. I'm very,
Yeah.
very thankful for that. And the other groups, it's either not sharing or it's condescending, or they do a little bit of too much sharing and they share files that aren't theirs or copyright and infringement stuff. And, that's just not the culture for the most part. Obviously there's some groups which may teeter a little bit too much to the, one side. But for the most part, at least and I guess the circle I keep close, that's not really an issue. So,
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree.
so you had told us that you have some coupons
Yeah.
for the group.
Yep.
So we're only gonna tell them the one because the other one's a secret.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
what's the code and the discount and the deets on the one for general admission, as he called it?
The code on my website, primarymarket.store, is Riley Black 10.
Nice.
Nice.
We
Nice.
appreciate that.
Yes. And well, what are the handles on Instagram and Facebook?
Yeah,
and
where do
stuff?
people
Where
find
do
you?
people find you?
So my Facebook is Primary Market. So that's my business page. Our daughter, when she was 4, there's a fantastic video. So she said that, well, first of all, our first name was Little Sprouts Get Some More. And my husband's like, too long, too
Yeah.
long. We need a new name. And she's like, it's going to be Primary Market. And I said, well, why? And she's like, because I like primary colors. We have it on video. And there's no markets around town. And I said, okay, where's primary market?
Wow.
So
That's a
Yeah.
cool story.
Origin
That's
story.
that's like way advanced because I don't know. It just sounds like so like official and like,
it is the
That's
cutest
awesome.
video. We've watched it 1,000 times. And,
love
even people in our community are like, primary market.
I love it.
So yeah, so we're in primary market on our business, on our Facebook business, and we're on Instagram as primary market. My laser group, where
Yes.
I just think it's just the best. We have comedy in there. We have sincerity. We have a lot of faithful followers.
Yeah.
It's a great group.
Yeah.
That's Primary Market Laser Partners.
Perfect.
So yeah.
Cool.
Perfect.
Well, thanks again for
Yeah.
jumping on, and you actually got in like really soon for us, and it actually means we're going to be ahead a week
Yeah.
for like the first time
And then
in a long time.
and then we'll fall back after the
Of
Sign
course.
Expo because
Yep.
this will just get us to the Sign
to the
Expo.
Sign Expo, yeah.
So yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so you're going to, well, obviously, because you're close, going to the Sign
Yeah.
Expo.
Yeah, it's in
Yeah, I
Orlando.
can't wait
I
for the
didn't
reveals.
even I
Yeah,
didn't
that
even know
totally
about
helps.
it until I think Heather was saying she was, or no, Amanda. Amanda
Mhm.
said she was going, and I was like, "Excuse
Right.
me, in Orlando? What's in Orlando? Like, we're close
Yeah.
enough to Orlando now that like we can
Yeah.
go for those kind of
Yeah.
trips and stuff." So, I keep telling him that I'm most excited about going and not having to work
Being
at
like
all.
a spectator, yeah, like actually going as
Like
a spectator.
he's gonna kind of work. He's gonna like video it and get content and stuff. But other than that, we're literally going to just
Yeah.
mingle, not to like sell anything or whatever. So yeah, we're excited.
Awesome.
And,
Yeah.
and let's be honest, anytime as a business owner, anytime you go somewhere, you're gonna end up recording content
Oh, yeah.
anyway. So
Always.
it's not
Even
even
if it's a
like
quick
work.
10-second,
Right,
yeah.
right. You're gonna be doing it
Right.
anyway. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's not gonna be like work
Are
at all.
you going to next level?
I wish I could. I'm going to be teaching over the summer. I teach at the college
darn.
in the summer, and I can't really miss. But as she's getting older, we miss the Christmas party.
Yeah,
Couldn't leave our girl.
I know.
So, we're going to Disney the next month, and we're just like, there's a lot of traveling.
Yeah.
But, we just said we're going, the next event, we're going. We're
Yeah.
going to the next event, and the team down they made me feel really good. And they're like,
Yeah.
but we kind of want you here. I was like, me? Like,
Me?
oh my gosh, I
Yeah.
just keep saying, just keep it simple. And my motto of my group is keep it simple and do it well. I think that we live a very simplistic life.
Mhm.
My mother might not say the same, but I think that we're just simple people. We just care about our family and all these things, and waking up every morning and getting all these messages from people that have been inspired by something I've posted or something I've said.
Yeah.
And it's just like, holy cow. Holy cow! This is
Yep.
unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Well, congrats
So-
on finding
Yeah.
finding and creating a wonderful community.
Yeah.
Yes, it's no, thank you. It's just I don't know. I don't know how I got so lucky. But it's just it like I said, just checks off a ton of boxes for me.
Cool. Well, thanks for spending about an hour with us. And
Yeah.
you guys stay right there for the life update coming up next. And we're back. See,
Hey.
I could have given you a countdown so you don't yawn. I just had to jump into it.
That was aggressive.
Life update.
What's life?
Man. So this one over here, Miss, I don't cut anything and I don't like making physical products.
I don't.
She's used her machine 3 days in a row. To some of you, you're like, yeah, so.
No,
I use
that's
mine.
pretty
I
big.
use mine. She never uses her machine. I think
Mm.
that's the most Mariah Carey has worked.
No.
3 days in a
No.
row? No?
I made 50 whatever keychains for your grandmother's, and that was like right after I had made something else. No, I've
That was
made
2 days in a row.
yeah, but it was a lot of work.
Maybe when you made those
This I turned it
mask
on
things,
3 times.
but
Yeah, that was when I like first started. No, but like I turned it on 3 days, but I didn't like do like crazy amount of work. I
No,
just
but
got
you-
several
you
layers.
actually- yeah.
Layers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one of those days shouldn't have even happened because I was recutting
right. But
stuff.
right, exactly.
But,
So yeah, we've been using
yeah.
the laser.
And the cake topper that I talked about on the show, I took a badass photo of it. And
Yeah.
that's, I mean, it's my pictures have come a long way.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
it's a big pain point for me.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I
And
hate
for many people.
that I'm not good at it and that I wasn't great at it.
Mhm.
Past tense. I still struggle for sure. But it was something that like I just every time I'd try, I'd spend all this time and like I put this there, this there, this there, this there. My back is killing me just because of all the angles and some
Right.
up, down, sitting down,
Hunched
trying to
over.
like hunched over, like trying to get that good angle. And then you finally think you get it. And then like there's a fuzz on it or the shadow is weird or, there's just something like, and especially product photos, I'd look and then like I'd be scrolling back through and I've already changed the setup and I see something I don't like about a couple of photos ago
Right.
and I don't want to set it all up again. And so, yeah, taking pictures has been a really tough part of like
Right.
the business and taking good pictures because the other stuff's sold, but like
Right.
it could be a lot better.
Right. Yeah.
And yeah, so I just took a really good photo and I was proud of myself and packed up the sign finally. I took pictures of it, even though me and that sign have a bone to pick. I took some decent pictures of it and the keychains, and I was like in the text message I'm sending her like the pictures of the sign and the keychains, and I'm like warning her that one of them is not up to my standards, but I'm sending it to her anyway because most people won't notice the things I don't like about it.
Right.
And I'm sitting here explaining these keychains and I'm like, they're free. Like, why? I literally said, I'm like, but they're also
Right.
free. So, I don't, because the fear is like, I'm partially sending them to them to show them these are the things I like
Right.
making. Buy these. And just showing them like the potential. And I got to play with new colors and I got to play with different textures and stuff.
Right.
So it's a perfect excuse to play with their logo, as most businesses love their logo.
Yep.
And so they like to see their logo in other things. So yeah, I'm proud of yesterday was a rough day in many ways, and then today was a much better, much more productive day. So
Yeah.
got them all packaged up same day, which is not common for me. I
Not
mean,
for
I
us.
kind of have to with my friend's cake topper because she needs it by Tuesday. So
Yeah. Birthdays are kind of hard outs.
yeah. So But yeah, it was a good day. I was
Didn't
proud of
even
the
have
progress.
to use the AK.
Right? Like our homie Ice Cube. I was gonna say Ice T, and like wrong one.
How many of our community get that reference?
Yeah, if they're our age, they do. Cody said I only looked 34 today. Because I posted that cake topper in the
Thanks, Cody.
Acrylic Obsessed group. And some Melody was like, "Oh, I'm doing this theme for my, death to my 30s or whatever, because she's turning 40." And I was like, "Yeah, me too," in May. And Cody was like, 40? She's like, "I thought you were 34." I'm like, "Thank you, but my body feels 80, so, there's that."
Perfect place.
But I love being, mistaken for younger.
Yeah,
It's
it's
probably
always-
maturity,
it's
but
it's that, and I think fat is the fountain of youth.
it is. It makes you look younger.
Yeah.
So I should just stop trying to
I mean,
lose weight
I guess we could lose a little bit.
a little bit.
I think
Okay.
that there's a threshold. There's a fine line
There
between
really
where
is. It's like 5 or 10 pounds.
lose-
It's not a big.
no, so you come down, then it's like you lose 5, and you're like, ooh, no, I look old. Okay, let me gain 5 more, and that's my sweet spot.
Right. Does it work though if you gain it back?
Huh?
Does
I
it like
think so. I don't know.
do things like smooth out or something?
I think that's probably what it is. It's the fat smooths out the wrinkles, and then when there's no fat, it yeah.
On that note, we should probably go now.
It's been another great episode of the Riley Black Project. Crystal and John.
Bye.
Maybe we're all done.